Should I take a break from social media? How would I know? Both are important questions, and we'll talk about them right now. Technology is making us sick, literally. Did you know cyber sickness is a real thing? The inverse of motion sickness, actually. Whereas motion sickness is caused by being in motion while perceiving you're still, cyber sickness is caused by being still but perceiving you're in motion. But we can easily fix that. If we become aware that constant scrolling is making us queasy, we can put our screen down. Our stomach gives us a cue that we're getting sick. But social media gives us no such early, easily identifiable warning system. Social media makes us sick like a cancer. It goes to work unnoticed in our lives, shifting our focus and skewing our perception and shaping our minds until suddenly others in our lives begin to notice that we're far away from the persons we once were, while possibly never noticing the change ourselves. We become sick and everyone notices it but us. As followers of Jesus, the most devastating variant of this sickness is spiritual sickness. Our drift away from Jesus caused by the shifting, skewing, shaping effect of social media on our spiritual focus and perceptions and our mind happens little by little, deviation by deviation, until we bear little resemblance to the life of Christ that we claim is within us. So how does it work? How does social media shift us from health to sickness? Well, believe it or not, Psalm 1, written 3,000 years before the first smartphone, tells us, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers." There are three actions in that verse: walking, standing, sitting, and three persons described: the sinner, the wicked, and the scoffer. And what the psalmist is saying is simple. Those who spend increasing time with the sinner, wicked, and scoffer aren't blessed. Why? Verse 4 tells us, "The wicked are not so, but are like the chaff that the wind drives away." They are at the mercy of the wind. There's no root. There's no substance. So again, how does social media make us sick? Well, it makes us sick when it increases our time spent with content that influences us to loosen our moral commitments, lose our spiritual bearings, and lift ourselves up in judgment of others. And often, it takes others in our lives to help us know if that's happened. Though I grew up in Oklahoma, I spent my mid-20s to my mid-30s in rural Tennessee. By the time we moved back to Oklahoma after 10 years, I had developed a pretty significant Tennessee accent. Now, it didn't take long back in my home state to start to lose the hard edges of that adopted accent and renew my charming Oklahoma drawl. But my administrative assistant, when I moved back to Oklahoma, always knew when I'd been on the phone in my office with someone from Tennessee because the accent came roaring back. Here's my point. Folks close to us will always be able to tell with whom we've spent our time. So ask those close to you, do you sense I'm more comfortable with certain behaviors and words and attitudes than I used to be? Do I seem maybe adrift spiritually? Do I seem more critical of others, more judgmental of the church? If the answers to any of those questions is yes, and your default mode is to be online, then I think you have your answer. You're walking, standing, and sitting with the sinners, wicked, and scoffers of social media, and it shows. So take a break. Your spiritual life depends on it. Want to talk about something else? Just ask by emailing justask@bluevalleychurch.org.